Welcome to the Record Machine Show podcast. And now, here's your host, James Michael Hollenstein.
We have an exciting program lined up for you today. Monty and CJ from Bo Bowen will be joining us for an interview. If you seek something vibrant, neoclassical, and semi-abstract infused with robust musical elements, the avant-garde duo Bo Bowen is sure to impress. As is our tradition, let us begin the show with a tune. Here's Hits Different. Just listen to the track Hits Different by Beau Bowen, and I have Monty and CJ on the line for an interview. So how are you guys doing?
I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
pretty well.
Good.
And you on this fine Sunday? It's sunny with us here in the UK.
Yeah, I'm in North Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. It's pretty warm here. It's about 75 degrees.
Wow.
Have you been to the US yet?
Yeah, we've been a couple of times.
Yeah.
Not Not together, actually. We've been together 5 years, so...
yeah, we're coming up to our 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, we really should get over to the States, you know. We'd love to do some playing.
And I've got, funnily enough, I've got a lot of family out in the US, so that's why predominantly I used to go out to visit family. A lot of family in sort of Minneapolis and Florida. So yeah, I love visiting the US. I always think it's amazing, and it's surreal that we're here talking to each other now,
right?
Like this, but yet we're thousands of miles. You know, it's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. So, what part of the UK are you guys in?
Well, we live in a very beautiful part of the UK. It's about 2 hours or so from London. It's Suffolk. It's the county of Suffolk, so it's the East Coast.
Oh, very cool. So tell me, how did you guys first become interested in music, and when did you start playing or your first instrument or singing?
Well, I could sing before I could talk. So it was always inevitable. Both my parents are musicians, composers, singers, artists. So it's kind of in the blood. And I could sing before I could talk. Music, I think, has always just naturally been there. I was writing music from ever since I could remember, and I have quite a big memory. So from when I was really, really small, I was always creating tunes and stuff like that. And you've been doing it your whole life as well, haven't you? But one thing I will say is that when we came together, it was as if we always knew each other, wasn't it? It was this strange meeting of minds, you know, everything just sort of fitted. Because I always knew myself, and you can go into to how you feel about this, but I always knew myself that I would find my musical partner. I didn't know when, but I knew it was there. It was just this innate knowing. And when we came together and we heard one another's abilities and talents there, it was just immediate meeting of minds, you know, the whole thing. It wasn't it? It was just, I mean, we're totally so intense people, and just, you know, we're not frightened to be so vulnerable with each other in the studio creating, and we know what each other does backwards, you know, it's like we're as one. It's an incredible, you can talk about it now if you want.
Yeah, exactly that, really. You know, we have a really good connection musically together, and it's just, great.
Yeah, well, I believe people are meant to meet certain people along the way for a reason in their life.
Definitely. It's crazy, isn't it? That sort of time when you look back with the gift of hindsight, you then go, I get it. I understand why that happened then, or, you know, the timing of everything. But it's such a blessing, actually, when I look back at the breadth of work we've created, because even though, you know, we strategically released this piece of music here, there, blah, blah, we've got albums and albums worth of multi-genre music that we've written together, and it's such a privilege for us to be able to work with each other, isn't it? We understand each other's madness as well.
That's cool. I believe every band or artist is influenced by someone. Who are some of your musical influences? Well,
I suppose, you know, maybe Prince, and he's a very big influence, definitely. I think
he's in there, and he's in the heart there somewhere, you know.
Yeah, you know, because his influence is quite big in terms of, you know, vocally, songwriting, production, you know, and his stage.
I was just about to say,
craft as well.
The stagecraft is definitely something that we feel akin to. But one thing that we always try to not do is listen too closely to somebody, because I think you can, you know, if people listen too closely, you can try and copy. And that's something that we've never wanted to do. We've always, haven't we? We've always tried to keep as original. Well, no, we haven't even tried. We've just been as original as possible, and obviously referenced music and gone out to listen to as much music as we can, multi-genre of music. But there's not one, as far as I'm concerned, certainly, you know, there is only good and bad music. There's no preferred genre. If a piece of music is great, it's great, you know? If it's crap, it's crap. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, and I think that's a philosophy for Bo Bowen as a band and a brand, that there's only good and bad. And actually, you know, if you are reaching to be an iconic band, you need to appreciate everything, you know, and actually be able to write everything and have a song for every occasion, you know, whether it be the football anthem, wink, wink,
right.
The Christmas song, the song for this, the song for that. You know, you need to push yourself to do absolutely everything. But we never listen too closely to anybody. But we do reference, obviously, or we listen to different people. But you know what I mean? We never just sort of seek that one thing, because life is just too massive. You know, the amount of people that we have in the world, you want to soak it all up, you know, as much as you can.
Exactly. That's the one thing I love about you guys. Like when I got the email with your music and your picture and your background story and stuff, I went and looked at your YouTube page. I'm like, wow, these two are great. I got to have them on the show. So I responded back to Lisa Davies, I guess they're your management company that they do a lot of booking for you.
Yeah, they're a great team. Yeah, really, really great. And they really see our visions and you know, what we want to bring to the world. And obviously, before we've done this interview together, we've been connected on social media, and it's been really wonderful. I think I've certainly felt that straight away, that you got us. And the support has been really fantastic. So we're really grateful to be on this show. We've been looking forward to it all week.
Well, thank you for doing it. I'm pleased that you're here. Like I said, I was excited when I saw the email and saw how great you guys were. I'm like, I got to have these two on, you know?
Oh, bless you. That means a lot. That means a lot. Really, it does.
Now let's talk about the name Beau Bowen. Where did the name derive from?
Well, it was actually my stage name originally before I'd met Monty. So I was going, living my life as Beau Bowen for about a year.
Oh, okay.
And, when I met Monty, you know, I knew that what I was doing was going to shift, and I'd been, you know, keen to choose a stage name that could be used in various different contexts. So Beau Bowen became a duo.
Where two became one, and the name became one. Who's the Beau and who's the Bowen? Those are Well, you haven't answered that one.
You're definitely the Beau.
Oh, I'm the Beau. Oh, darling. You are my Beau, though. Yeah.
It is a cool name. It is a cool name.
Yeah, I think so. It's a brand and it's a band, and there's a lot of mystery to it as well, you know. You people often, I find, they want to ask questions. They want to know, okay, so why and how is this? That's really cool. And there's connections on my side, on my maternal side. Their surname was actually Bowen at one point. My grandmother's surname was Bowen. So, you know, there's an interesting synergy there. So we just thought, right, we're going to go for it, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
This podcast will showcase two of your tracks, Hits Different and Blue Army. What's the story behind these songs?
Do you want to do Hits Different and I'll do Blue Army, or?
Yeah, all right, you go first.
Yeah? Okay. yeah, I don't mind, or we can do both. Well, last year, Ipswich, our hometown team, they reached the Premier League. And we live next door to a pub, so there was the whole county, there was an incredible electricity. And everybody was going wild, weren't they? And we, just like that, somehow captured that energy and then started writing the song. And the song arrived first before we wrote the lyrical content for it and created everything else around. But we created this song around that time, and it just fitted perfectly into place, really. And it was, you know, it's a song that is very catchy, Blue Army, very catchy, and really connects with the football pitch. You know, I often said to you, you know, how would I want to feel if I was a footballer going onto that pitch? It catches the excitement of the people, because you think about that electricity that is in the football stadium from everybody who's there cheering along. I mean, I've been going to football matches my whole life. My father would take me, and I was captured emotionally by the crowds. So there's a lot of, when you hear the song, there's a lot of careful historical documentation that we've taken and brought into the song as well. And of course there is an original Blue Army chant, but we've sort of taken that and made music with it, haven't we? But I remember emotionally being so captured, and, you know, this tiny kid, just my eyes would well up and I'd be crying when the goal would score and there's this cheer. So we were very lucky that we had that energy around the county when we went into the Premier League, because it's in that song. You can feel it, you know. Yeah, it's there. Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our other single, Hits Different, we really enjoyed this track that we'd created, and so we put some lyrics to it, and made a track that we really enjoyed.
It just happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Funky. It's funky.
Good fun.
Disco in a new realm, you know. It's got homage to something, but yet it's totally its own thing, and it just happens that way with us, doesn't it? We don't. I think if you try to be something in a certain way, I don't think it always works out. But I think if you have the natural talent and initiative, you can take it so far, can't you? And I think, and I'm not just saying this because he's my husband, but I think that the guitar solos are absolutely legendary in Hits Different, and they're blooming difficult, you know. They're kind of his signature thing. So very funky indeed.
Nice. Now, when writing a new song, what comes first for you guys? The lyrics or the melody?
It varies.
Yeah, it does vary from track to track.
I think there's no one rule, actually. I think, you know, sometimes it can start off with just an idea. Sometimes it's a title. Sometimes it's a lyric. And then sometimes it is just the music. But once we've got something, just that one thing that stimulates the rest of the song, that the thing we then focus on is, of course, the end result. So I always say, even if there's panic in the studio and one of us is either panicking, going, oh, what, you know, don't worry about that. Just think of the end result, you know. That's our philosophy sometimes.
Nice. How would you describe your music to someone who never heard it before?
Well, I think broadly speaking, you know, it can be categorized as alternative indie, which I think is pretty good for us because it's not very descriptive, really, is it? That could be
everything,
anything and everything, which is sort of what we are, because you know, there's a lot of synths in our music which would sort of lean it towards sort of alt pop or something like that, but then there's rock guitars, so that'd be in sort of in the rock area, and
and soul.
Yeah, I suppose so. And it's sort of bit everywhere.
Bit of everything, but you know, actually we've been asked this before, and I think my philosophy certainly with bringing, I'm a classically trained musician as well, been operatically trained with my voice, and I'm also a classical composer. So, you know, I think what we are named will change over time. If you're pushing for new genres, you know, there'll be a time in the early stage of your career where you'll be branded as this. But I think it will definitely change over the decades, you know, because we're here forever. You know, we're not going anywhere. We have a vision with pioneering new music genres and everything. But I think you will definitely hear, with all of the different genres of music that we create, you'll hear a synergy. You'll know it's us, you know. But we definitely work hard to have, pardon the pun, many strings to our bow, you know, not just one type of music. You know, sometimes we'll go down the dance track. Right now we're kind of in our top 40 stage, you know, we're writing all sorts of incredible dance tracks, you know, that will and should be in the top 40, you know, pumping dance tracks. And then we have a breadth of classical music, symphonic music, just everything really. I think that you should push for multi-genres in music. I think it's an incredible thing, you know?
Absolutely. Now, can you share any details about any upcoming projects, like an album, a single, maybe a video? What can the fans expect?
Well, we actually have a single coming out on the 4th of April, which is the first date of our UK tour.
Okay.
So we'll be debuting it at that time, you know. It's
So 4th of April. And I'm sorry, I would like to give James a little sneak secret of the name.
Okay.
Even though we're keeping the song.
You can incriminate yourself.
I can incriminate. I'll incriminate myself. So our new single is coming out on Friday, the 4th of April, and it's called Dance Like a Robot.
Nice.
So you'll see the music video and you'll hear the single. It'll be coming out. And it's uber cool. It'll definitely make you want to get your dancing shoes on, you know? Yeah,
and we work with an artist at the moment for our cover art called Darcy, who goes by the by the moniker of creative vandalism, and we think he's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's very fantastic.
Just this witty, stylistic,
sort of comic art, and
drawings. So we're really happy with that. We're really happy with this one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're happy with all of them.
I know, but I think we're particularly happy.
I think it's one of his favourites as well. The cover art for the record, and as well, I think I feel from reading Kerrang! Magazine from a really, really young age. You know, I would always go to the comic section. You know, I think comic work can really take you to another world. So that was always something I was certainly keen for our music to take us, into that world, that kind of imaginary world. And Dance Like a Robot, there's a lot of hidden sort of meanings behind it, because of course, we're arriving at a time where AI seems to be quite frightening. I think it's quite frightening.
Right,
I don't know.
yeah.
We've had brief conversations about it. I have mixed sort of ideas about it. I think obviously with certain things it can be really, really fantastic, when it comes to, say, even robots, surgery, there's amazing things that they're doing. But I think in the artistic world, I think AI, I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I think that we still need to rely on our talents as human beings. So one of the ideas behind Dance Like a Robot, it was imaginary, we created costumes. We didn't just want to be a typical robot. We wanted to sort of get back to our childlike state and create costumes. What would my 10-year-old or 7-year-old self create as a robot costume, and how would a robot dance? So kind of reaching to the inner child and seeing what the human idea of a robot is rather than an actual robot. So there's lots of sort of hidden things in there, really, and I think the time for it is now. The time for it's right, the song, with everything that's going on in the world.
Definitely.
So it's the organic version of a robot.
And I think it's a fairly good strategy for art to attempt to return to that sort of child state,
that pure state,
For instance, the guitar that I designed, the concept behind it was, what would my 7 or 10-year-old self dream a guitar could be in about 10 seconds.
Well, when you dreamt that you were Bart Simpson when you were a kid, the Bart Simpson guitar, But I want to know what you think about this, James, because I think that I certainly feel when I've been at my highest creative state, I've been at my most innocent, and you go to a world that is pure and innocent, and you reach parts of yourself that were there from the beginning. You kind of go back to your roots, and I feel that that's one of the most charming things about being a creative, or anything.
Definitely.
There's more that you can be creative within other realms. Even in science, you can come up with creative thought. But I think when people, for example, they're coming up with new ideas or new philosophies in science or whatever, I think there's an element of the inner child that's in all of us, and I think bringing that out is really nice, because we're not an aggressive band. We're not a political band, and we're not angry. But what we do want to present is this sort of, harking back to something else that's just in there somewhere. And it comes out artistically very well for us, I think. Like the spark guitar.
That's a very cool guitar. Great job on that.
It is, yeah.
He's going to bring it out for you now.
Yeah. Pretty chuffed with it. There's
it's a beast.
Only one of these at the moment.
Only one at the moment, but watch this space.
Yeah,
the Bo Bowen signature series.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Now,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, how this guitar came about. So Christopher, CJ, he designed the initial design, and then we refined elements of it together. But I have written a large-scale work. A record, multi-track record for him. And I'm so inspired by my husband's playing. Coming from a family of guitarists, I was always searching for that perfect sound, but I never quite found it until he arrived with me. I was always listening to the greats. Of course, I appreciate the greats, and my knowledge of guitar music is huge. But I always heard his playing in my head, and then suddenly I found him, and I was like, that's the sound. And I remember immediately when we first became acquainted, but it was the first time when I saw him playing live online, my immediate thoughts were, that's the sound I'm looking for. Finally, I've got it. So I've written this music. I think you'll hear it sooner rather than later, actually.
Well, we're gonna start playing some of it at the live shows. You know, a big sort of 80s rock midsection in the show where I get to have a sort of.
But it's not 80s.
Extravagant guitar solo.
It's not 80s. It's good that you said that, to be honest, because that's something else I wanted to pull light to. I think you can equate it. It will have an affinity to 80s rock or 80s virtuosic guitar, but it's not. It's something completely new and fresh. And there's a large scale, I think coming up to 8 minutes, piece of music that I've written for CJ called On a Soft Bed I Burn. It's incredibly emotional. I think that you're going to love it. We're definitely going to release it as a record. We're going to release everything we're doing. But the design of this guitar was inspired by the work that I was writing for you, wasn't it? And we wanted to customize the build so that we could, create this incredible operatic explosion within the guitar, a very vocal, because you're very vocal with your guitar playing, and actually the vibrato, the sound of my voice and his guitar playing is so together, they become as one. You'll hear it live, you'll hear it on the records. I'm excited about everything we're doing, but guitar music, as I said, is incredibly important to me. I'm not a guitarist, I'm a bass player. Mm-hmm. But guitar is in my every being,
You guys are also known for putting out some really cool music videos as well. Now, I'm sure there has to be a music video for this new single, correct? And when can we expect that?
It's dropping on the 4th.
Yeah, that'll be coming out on the 4th of April.
Oh, the video, the video too? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Greenwich Mean Time, 12 a.m.
Nice. Now, do you guys enjoy shooting and creating the video as much as writing and recording the songs?
Yeah, I do. It's they're really good fun to think about and conceptualize, and certainly enjoy getting more extravagant with the ideas, and I like executing plans. Sort of having
it's everything, isn't it?
Setting challenges and accomplishing them, and I like the challenge.
It's definitely a challenge, and following on from that, I would say I like the end result. I'm not going to pretend that you have to make it look easy. When you've got the final result and you've got everything perfectly as to how you need it, that's the greatest enjoyment for me, certainly. I don't know whether I can say that enjoyment is even a necessity, really. I think pushing yourself to get that result, almost, you think about acting, method actors, it's all about the magic that you're creating on the screen. I think to feel it doesn't always work. Do you know what I mean? I think, you stay focused on the idea that you've created and how you need to look. So looking your best. And, there are poses, for example, that I remember doing for this video where I was standing in a certain way and I had massive pain in my leg. You wouldn't have known it it doesn't show on the screen, but you know what I mean? You're focusing so hard on where you need to look, or the facial pose that you need for that moment, that it's calculating. But I wouldn't say it's a relaxed or an easy process, but certainly when you finish the artistic project and it comes out the other side, it's an amazing feeling. But there is a philosophy, I'm sure you'll agree with this, that you're actually only as good as your next gig, not your last gig, because that's already gone. I know, Dance Like a Robot's going to be very new and current for everyone, but it's old news for us because we've moved on about 10 times further. You're always searching for that next thing. You judge yourself. We certainly judge ourselves on that next thing that we know we need to finish to create that beauty. I think, and again, it's about creating beauty. But you're only as good as your next gig, and I think that keeps you humble and more on top of it, because you can have natural talent, but you still have to work hard with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another philosophy that goes into it. So the final result, I would say, is what's enjoyable, but the rest of it can be a bit tense, especially if you've got OCD like me, and I'm like, it has to be perfect.
Right. Definitely. Now, I mentioned earlier how the whole package. That's what drew me into you guys, like your look and your music and all that. With that being said, can you share any insights into the role of fashion or style in the music industry, and how has it influenced your image?
Well, I don't know.
Very good question.
Yeah, once again, we have an idea of what's sort of contemporary, but more important than that, we sort of feed our own tastes, So it's and also that as well as trying to get ourselves across, trying to get the Bo Bowen, the brand name, across to the audience. So it's a bit of all that for us. I mean, we like to also, we really want to put on a live spectacle, because that's where we want to be in our future, doing bigger and bigger shows. So to create something that's actually very interesting to look at, that people will really want to come and see, and a live spectacle that is unique and significant to that setting. I think that's what we go for as well. Definitely,
but I'll bring another thing into play. Certainly, when you're starting out, is budget is everything, and using your imagination is everything. Because, for example, if you had X amount of millions of dollars, millions of pounds from the beginning, you wouldn't have to rely on your own talent. You could just say, okay, so this is what I want. Can you create that for me? Whereas we don't have that. So what we started doing from the very beginning is sorry, did I?
No, it's all right.
Are you sure? What we started doing from the very, very beginning was actually customizing and creating our own outfits from the start. And
because we have zero budget, that influences the look of everything we're doing as well. Pretty much everything is custom designed by us, actually,
which I think is better.
We really enjoy that. It's good fun to get stuck into things artistically, and I think also in this day and age, when with all the technology that's available to us, and all stuff that's mass produced, stuff can get so boring and everything done for you. So I like to think that I want to try and get in and touch and leave my stamp on absolutely every single element that comes through and is part of Beau Bowen. So every costume we custom design ourselves. All of the live set we custom design. We have at our live shows, a big 3-meter wide meteorite that sits in the center of the stage that we made ourselves. With the thinking behind it being, a meteorite has crash landed at the venue, and Bo Bowen have sort of crawled out of it
like a worm.
Now we're doing a gig there.
Not like a worm.
Concepts and ideas definitely influence the vision and the art, the visuals and the art of our band as well, and the clothes and everything.
Definitely, and I will say this about you, is you're an incredible woodwork designer, and the way you get stuck in. We have a shed a barn, an old sort of derelict barn that we use for doing it, and the paint gets everywhere when we're creating these clothes. But
because we live a little bit outside of London now, we both of us have lived in London for quite a long time, but in the past couple of years we've been living in Suffolk. We've got all this space where we can really get creative and make a huge mess
and retreat as well. And it's an interesting point that you made to James as well, that it can get boring if you rely on other people too much, I think, and you need that creative control. I think it's a really good thing. But also as well, for example, like with Dance Like a Robot, we created and designed the costumes from scratch. And actually it was an imaginary kind of artistic way of representing a robot, rather than, okay, we've got XYZ of money, we're going to employ this person to just literally build us a robot costume that is a robot. We didn't want that. We kind of wanted to go for the more imaginary sort of idea of something. And it was so much fun to design that what I say for the music video. It was so much fun to design it.
But once again, I think the concept's driving the art more than just thinking about what'd be cool, or you know, because I think when you have an idea and you execute it well, it just becomes it's more interesting. You know?
Yeah, I think trying to be cool, you end up being really uncool. Cool doesn't come into our mind. What comes into our mind is what's the greatest product that we can create from our hearts that we know people will enjoy when they discover it, you know, and then pass it on to other people, share what's coming out of our heart in a really, one of the purest, there's nothing contrived here. We're not interested in anything like that. We just want to create great stuff that will last forever. And because at the end of the day, it's not about us as individuals, is it? It's about what we've created and what we've given. You know, when we pass on one day, it's about what we leave behind to give to people. So I always just think we're the conduit. And, you know, it's like acting. You create these characters. You know, we both are multifaceted vocalists. You know, we sing in so many different styles. They're characters. They're tiny, tiny parts of us, but they're not. It's not the person who you're speaking to now. It's somebody else that's in the ether, that's in that recording. You know, that you can only hear, really.
Right. Bo Bowen's a brand, and it's important to have your own brand and your own identity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. And as I say, you know, customizing the outfits has kind of enhanced the music, I think. The whole thing kind of goes hand in hand because, you know, we create a really amazing track and then we go, oh, let's design this kind of outfit. And I feel that the music comes out in the painting of the, you know, when you're doing you're painting the outfit. I mean, what would Vivienne Westwood say? Probably something very similar. You think about the things she designed back in the day, you know.
Do you guys have any shows coming up that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a tour coming up in April. So
next week, actually.
Yeah, next week. Our first one is at the Hunter Club in Bury St Edmunds. So it's a very cool venue. Yeah, and we're excited to get the tour underway there. And then we've got a selection of dates throughout the UK, going as far up as Sheffield, and we're finishing the tour at the Water Rats in London, so a very famous venue, and that should be an absolutely brilliant gig. I think that's on the 26th of April. 26th
of April, that's our final spring, the Out of This World Rock Show tour, which it's going to be fantastic, and we've got a really great growing group of fans and loyal friends who, you know, come to every show and just, you know, I can't wait to give that back to people, you know.
Yeah, and we're also doing a little pricing scheme for the tickets of this tour because you know, so many people are just so under the thumb at the moment and can't afford it. So we've decided that with ticket sales being good, that we will just price it so that we're not making any money. We're just covering the expenses. So we've got a £2 ticket scheme. So tickets are just £2. So
if you want to fly over, you won't really have to spend anything to see the show. No, I'm joking. No, that would be a bit too much.
But with the thinking being that, you know, everyone can afford £2, you know.
Just a gesture, you know, just.
And if people want to spend more money, we've got all sorts of merch available, you know, vinyl, T-shirts, all that sort of stuff if people want to take home.
That's awesome. Now, outside of music, do you guys have any other hobbies or interests that you like to do?
Well, Monty and myself, we have a large amount of pet rats, actually. We love little rodent.
Yeah, we love. Yeah, we've got 18 rats.
Wow.
So that's 1-8. Yeah, we've got 18 rats, 5 mice, 2 gerbils, and a hamster. And we love them all. And they are something that we can retreat. They are little critters that we can retreat with. So at the end of the day, when we've done everything we need to do on that day, we go and we spend time with our animals, and they're the most wonderful, healing, kind, intelligent little guys. I mean, the rats, they're like little puppies, you know, they're like dogs. They're highly intelligent. They play. They're just fantastic. And they're our obsession. We've got a pet page as well online, which you've probably seen about. And, you know, it's my day today because I'm a rat mummy and it's Mother's Day. So, you know, I'm just appreciating my rat mummyhood. But yeah, they're fantastic, and they've got such unique characters as well. So in answer to that, that's our other life, is just being with the rats.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the videos on YouTube. I thought they were pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I think you will have been introduced to Little Rascal and Hannibal.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what
Hannibal
it
was just sitting. Hannibal was just sitting on CJ's shoulder, cleaning himself, and then Rascal was running around in my hair, giving me little tickles on my ear. He's very. They're absolutely. Do you know what? They're an incredible gift, rats. Okay, and they're very, very underrated. People, but they're incredibly clean. They spend a lot of their life cleaning themselves,
Right.
and they are loving. So to anybody and everybody who's watching this and is still listening to what I have to say about rats, go down the pet shop, get yourself some rats, okay? Because it's not a trend, it's a way of life, and it's a blessing to have these little guys. They're really wonderful, aren't they? Mm-hmm. I think you're a bit of a rat yourself. No, I am too.
No, you said
I'm the big rat.
He's the big rat. He's daddy rat. He's big rat.
You said you have 18. What do the rats eat typically every day?
Well, we give them a special. So they're fed. We don't give them any refined sugar because I know there's this thing going around that a rat will eat anything, and yes, any wild animal will eat what they can find, right? But refined sugar is never a good thing. So we give them special rat food that has been, scientifically created. So it's got all the nutrition in it. Mm-hmm. And then they get fruit and vegetables, mainly vegetables. They get lots of, like spinach and peppers and things like that. And they love tomatoes as well. They're very healthy little guys, aren't they? Mm-hmm. We've got a couple of, what do we call them? A couple of, beef cakes, Some of them, it depends on what type of rat you've got, but a couple of our guys are bruisers, they're big, they're big guys, they're huge. Muscly, huge guys. And then you've got a couple of, like, for example, our black rats that are slightly smaller and slimmer. But the diverse collection that we've got are amazing. We've got one guy called Otis, who's actually an American breed, breed of rat. Yeah, and he's beautiful. He's got a little white patch on his head. He's just absolutely gorgeous. I call him my little puff pigeon because if he had wings, he'd be flying around like a little pigeon. He's got that kind of face.
Like a big pigeon.
Big pigeon. Yeah, big.
Very cool. Now, where can the listeners go to learn more about you guys?
Okay, well, if you head to our website at www.bobowen.com, so that's BeauBowen, then you'll be able to find our tour dates, links to Instagram, Facebook, everything. So that's your first port of call. But if you go straight onto social media sites, so Facebook, Instagram, you go to @BoBowenAreWe. So that's @BeauBowenAreWe. So that's @BoBowenAreWe, and you'll be able to find what we're up to. And head to YouTube, subscribe to us. We've got lots of amazing music videos that are coming out and have not long come out. It's a bit early for Christmas, but we've got our Christmas song out and everything. So watch this space. It's going to be cool.
Awesome. Is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
What I would say is it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, really great.
In the United States. We're overjoyed to be connecting with
really
some
great.
more of an American audience because some future shows in America would just be a dream for us. So everyone who's listening from the States, please get in touch. We're really friendly online, and
I'm always trying to make friends. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show today. Like I said, I really dig you guys. I think you have a cool look and a great sound, and I'm looking forward to hearing more great stuff from you guys in the future.
Oh, bless you. It means a lot to be connected with you, James. Thank you.
Likewise. Anytime you guys want to come back, man, you guys are great. I'd love to have you back on.
Definitely. Right? I'll message you. We're connected all the time now. You probably see our name just as much as we see yours because I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Amazing. Cool.
All right, guys. Well,
all right. Lots of love.
Great to meet you.
Take care. See you soon.
All right. You guys take care.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was a pleasure chatting with you guys. Thank you, Monty and CJ, for the great conversation. To wrap up the show, let us enjoy another track. This one's titled Blue Army.
Come on, Ipswich! Let's go! Blue Army, all the way!
Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Hall Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.
The Record Machine Show.